Guess who's coming to dinner? And the state of Oregon rewards illiteracy. Stay tuned, everybody. For the best meat you have ever eaten in your life, go to samsbutchershop.com. Enter the coupon code Triple T when you check out for a 10% discount. And hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. This is Trailer Trash Tim. How's your mama and them? Thank you so much for joining me. I'm glad you are here. We got a lot to cover, so let's dig in. Let's start with this. There was a time when Donald Trump posted a tweet, now X, and I don't have the exact text of the tweet, so I don't know if it was something he was saying in jest or if he was serious about it. It was while he was president, actually. And he tweeted an order, quote unquote, more on that in a minute, to remove all U.S. troops from Syria. Now, when he tweeted this, again, you wouldn't, if you're president, it's not like you would issue an order via Twitter, which was Twitter at the time. Man, I wish he'd go back to Twitter. But anyway, when he tweeted this, everybody went nuts. People were saying he's giving Putin a gift and all this kind of jazz because he was tweeting his intention to remove all troops from the nation of Syria. Now, he didn't do that. He should have done that, but he didn't do that. But he should have done that. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because here's a story from Reuters that just was put up, I think, yesterday on Monday. And listen to this. This ties in with this tweet. The White House says Iran is actively facilitating some acts on U.S. military bases. That's the headline. And the paragraph reads thusly: the White House on Monday said Iran was in some cases actively facilitating rocket and drone attacks by Iranian-backed proxy groups on U.S. military bases in Iraq and Syria, and Biden has directed the Department of Defense to brace for more. Now, what is the point I want to make about the story? It is simply this. I don't know if he was serious or I don't know if he said it in jest, but Donald Trump tweeted his apparent intention or his idea of removing all American military personnel from Syria. Again, he did not do that. We still have military personnel in Syria, obviously. Uninvited, I might add. We still have military personnel in Iraq. And now Biden is telling us, or the Department of Defense is telling us, that Iran is actively facilitating attacks on U.S. military bases in these locales. Now, how could you stop something like this from happening? The answer should be clearly obvious, should it not? You stop something like this from happening by not being there. We have no business being in Syria. We have no business being in Iraq. We never should have gone into Iraq. And the fact of the matter is, we wouldn't be sitting here having to worry about our bases being attacked by terrorists if we had no bases in these locations. Syria does not want us there. The government of Assad never welcomed us there. It's nothing but a breeding ground for conflict. We have no vital national interest there whatsoever. Again, we talked last week about blowback. If we just weren't there, we wouldn't be facing these problems. It's like we break our legs and then say, well, I guess I got to get crutches. Well, if you hadn't broke your leg, you wouldn't need crutches. Now, maybe you didn't mean to break your leg, but the point of the thing is correct. We wouldn't be having trouble in these countries if we weren't in these countries, and the argument cannot be made successfully that we should be in these countries. Again, the founding fathers of the United States would be outraged at the fact that we've got such military expansion all over the world. Our footprint is all over the world. That was never the intention of the founders of this country, and it's only the patriots who are standing up and saying enough of this nonsense. Let me move on. This kind of ties in with something that the Turtle said on yesterday. Mitch McConnell, one of the most worthless members of Congress, and brother, that is saying something. Senior senator from Kentucky, Mitch McConnell. He said yesterday, quote, "There's an axis of evil in the world. China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran." The old axis of evil. Where did we first hear the term axis of evil? We first heard the term, at least I first heard the term from George W. Bush after 9/11, when he was trying to sell us all on the notion of invading Iraq, and he did so successfully, of course. And he called these nations an axis of evil. I think his were Iran and Iraq and North Korea, if I remember correctly. But McConnell has a revised axis of evil, and his is Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea. Okay, yeah, there's problems in Iran, there's problems in North Korea, and of course China, what can you say? But Russia is an axis of evil. Don't you wish that you could talk to some of these people across the table sometime and try and just reason with them and just ask them basic questions? What I would ask McConnell is this: why do you call Russia the axis of evil? Why is that? Folks, what has Russia done to us? I mean, seriously, stop and think about it. Since the fall of the Soviet Union and the end of the Cold War, what has Russia done to the United States? Can anybody, and I'm dead serious, comment down below if you got an answer. I'd love to hear it. I honestly do not know. I can't think of one thing. Can anybody out there name, since 1991, one single Russian provocation toward the United States? Think about it a minute. Can you name one? Can you name one Russian provocation directed toward the United States of a military nature or an economic nature? Can you name just one? Just one, Mitch. Just one. What qualifies them to be part of the axis of evil? We know it can't be the incursion into Ukraine. We know why we're there. I'm not going to cover that again. I've done so extensively, exhaustively. So what is it? Why are they part of the axis of evil, Mitch? Do you notice one entity that Mitch did not include in his axis of evil? I got one for you. Here's my axis of evil. I got one place for your axis of evil. How about this one? Washington, D.C. Hello? Anybody say an amen to that? Is that an axis of evil? Is Washington, D.C. an axis of evil? Can you find evil in Washington, D.C.? Can you find evil that is being perpetrated upon the American people in any place more so than Washington, D.C.? I can't. With their oppressive legislation and lawmaking and the indebtedness and the corruption, the endless corruption and the inflation and the tolerance of people that are clearly enemies of the state, such as Talib and Omar, and I could go on and on. How about Mitch McConnell, for heaven's sakes? That's my axis of evil, and I'm an American. I don't have to look far at all. I don't even have to leave the country to find an axis of evil. All right, let me move on to... and he won't criticize... I'm reading my notes here. The turtle won't criticize Joe Biden. China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, the axis of evil. But he ain't got squat to say about Joe Biden. Any evil there, Mitch? Any evil with the Biden crime family? You don't see anything there, Mitch? Pathetic. Let me move on to what I was talking about in the lead-in. This is from the Gateway Pundit. If you're an American citizen, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. Who didn't see this coming? This is the headline from the Gateway Pundit. Customs and Border Protection issue warning for Hamas, Hezbollah, jihad forces trying to enter the southern border. Well, we certainly never saw this coming, did we? We talk about illegal aliens coming across the southern border. Well, we're just thinking about, hard-working Guatemalans or Nicaraguans or Mexicans, a man and his wife and their 2 kids coming over here to try and better their lives. Well, that's not exactly how it works, is it now? The San Diego field office of the Customs and Border, the CBS, Customs and Border Protection, the San Diego field office sent out a bulletin to its officers warning of jihadists trying to get into the United States through the southern border. The terrorist attacks against Israel have potentially inspired Hamas, Hezbollah, and other jihadists to make their way into our nation. Well, who didn't see this coming, right? Here we go. The CBS, the Customs and Border Protection Agency, says to be on the lookout for jihadists coming across our southern border, and Joe Biden is cutting the fence to let them in. I'm not making that up. I've covered that the last couple of weeks several times. Joe Biden ordered a fence cut at the southern border. Sometimes this is hard to do because I'm utterly speechless. Can you believe the outrage of what is happening to us? It's not just, peaceful people coming across our border trying to get a better life for themselves in America. The CBS tells us it is jihadists. Be on the lookout, Bolo, for jihadists, Hezbollah, Hamas trying to get across our southern border. And Biden's cutting the fence and saying, yeah, y'all come on in. We don't see no problem with that. But the Ukrainian border? All right, let me move on. Oh, Lord, have mercy on us. All right, how about this? This was from the website Oregon Live. Ever been to Oregon? I've never been to Oregon. I'd like to go to Oregon. I'd love to go pull my RV I'm in right now, and I'll tell you more about that tomorrow. Go to Oregon, go to Washington, go to California, go down the Pacific Coast Highway. I don't know if I want to go anywhere out there right now because we have utterly lost our minds on these three West Coast states in particular, California, Oregon, and Washington. And my sympathies are with anyone in those three states, or New York, places like that, Minnesota, that's a rational thinking person, kind of a conservative type person, just, you got a little common sense. But you are surrounded by absolute lunatics in these places. Oregon this just blows my mind. I mean, every day it is something. Listen at this. Oregon high school students won't have to prove basic mastery of reading, writing, or math to graduate from high school, the state Board of Education decided unanimously last Thursday. I'm speechless. So you can graduate, this is what they're saying. You can graduate from high school, from government high school, public high school, and be illiterate. Can you believe this? Yeah, you can walk the line. You can wear the cap and gown, even though you can't read, you can't write, and you can't do basic math. I was doing reading, writing, and basic math in the first grade, and I bet a lot of you were too. We were reading the Dick and Jane books. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Dick and Jane and their dog Spot. I was reading that in the first grade. I was using an abacus to do math. Anybody know what an abacus is? I was doing my 2 plus 2s and my not the multiplication table, the addition, and I don't know if I did subtraction in the first grade, but surely by the second, we were doing basic math. Reading and writing. We were reading in the first grade. We were writing in the first grade. I mean, it wasn't great, but we could do it. We could get by. We could do rudimentary things. But I mean, by the time I graduated elementary school, I could do all kinds of reading and writing. Forget high school. We were all doing this kind of stuff in elementary school. Cursive writing. I don't think anybody does cursive writing anymore. Reading books of American and English literature. That came later in high school. But the point of the matter is, by the time we left elementary school, the 6th grade, to go into middle school, we were doing reading, writing, and arithmetic. I think I was already doing algebra by then. But by the time you graduate high school, you've already been studying trigonometry and geometry and English literature and American literature and, these advanced concepts. And this is before you leave high school and graduate and go on either to college or to trade school or whatever you're going to do. But Oregon says, no, we're just going to graduate a bunch of illiterate kids. You know what this is, ladies and gentlemen? Do you know what this is? This is cruel to these children. This is absolutely cruel to these children because the Oregon State Board of Education is just throwing up its hands and saying, we give up. You all just go ahead. We're going to give you a diploma. Even though you're illiterate, you can't read, you can't write, you can't do 2 plus 2s, basic arithmetic. We're going to graduate you anyway. So we're just going to put you out into the world and wish you luck. Now, unless these kids are young men who know how to carry a football really well, what is their future? I mean, think of it. What have you got to do once you graduate high school? You've either got to go ahead and continue your education or you got to go and get a job. Who's going to hire these people? Yeah, I'm going to hire you to sell cars for me at my dealership. I see here, John, that you graduated from Oregon High School. Okay, that's good, but I think I like your personality. I think you might do well selling cars to our customers, but let me show you now how we write up a sales order, okay? So here's a sales order. Go ahead and I'll play like I'm the customer and you write me up. My name is Bob Jones, so go ahead and write down my name on the order there, Bob Jones. Go ahead, John. Go ahead, write down Bob Jones. Well, I can't. What do you mean you can't? I don't know how to write. How is he going to get a job? How is he going to live? How can you work at McDonald's if you can't do basic math? This is utterly cruel to these kids. Now, this begins in the home, of course, I'm telling you, but they are doing them no favor. This has been a trend for several years where we reward in America mediocrity. You get out on the ball field and you got all these teams of kids in T-ball and Little League, and everybody gets a trophy. Folks, that's wrong. When I played Little League Baseball, if we lost, we didn't get a trophy. We went home and just cried and whined about it to our mamas. But we didn't get a trophy. Only the winners got a trophy. Only success and hard work was rewarded. And that's the way it should be. You know why? Because that's life. And they are doing these kids a disservice by not teaching them what life is all about. Let me tell you, life is hard. And if you're not taught some difficulties in your younger years, you're not going to be well adjusted for life at all. You can't graduate kids who are illiterate. You're setting them up for dismal failure for the rest of their lives. This is cruel to them. You're not helping them. Patting them on the back and rewarding mediocrity is not helping them. Oh, this is so bass-ackwards. It is utterly ridiculous. All right, I gotta have some coffee. I'm hyperventilating. This is so aggravating. My goodness. All right, listen, thank you for being here today. Put your comments down below on the things I talked about. I'd love to hear what you have to say about our show today and what I said. If you would do me a big favor, everyone, and please like this video down below, I would appreciate that. Give me the big thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed to the Trailer Trash Tim channel, as long as you are not an illegal alien, you're a legal resident of your nation, and as long as you do not wear a face mask, you are more than welcome to subscribe to the channel and join our growing community. Everybody go out there, have a tremendous day today, and I will see you tomorrow.